welcome to Wine Uncorked with Tower. My name is Gil Coolers, and I'm a wine consultant here at Tower Beer, Wine, and Spirits in Atlanta, Georgia. As Martha and the Vandellas once said, summer's here and the time is right for dancing in the street. And if you're on my street, you probably have a glass of rosé wine in your hands. So this one goes out to all you rosé wine lovers out there. Let's find out what's in that glass of pink wine. Let's straighten one thing out right away. Rosé is a color. Just like all white wines are not Chardonnay, all rosé wines don't come from a specific grape. There are a lot of diverse red grapes out there that one can make rosés out of. But that being said, I really do think that most rosés do have a lot in common. There are a lot of exceptions, but what I look to a rosé for is, and most rosés fall into this category, is a wine that is crisp and clean with a fairly high amount of acidity. They typically are great food wines, but then again, it's a great cocktail wine that you can have out on the pool deck. I think if I were to describe a perfect rosé wine, it would be fun and unfussy. That's why they're our favorite summer wine. Now I have 4 wines lined up right here. We have the Triens from the south of France. This goes for about $16 a bottle retail. Generally speaking, we're going to find a blend of Grenache and a few other grapes found in the south of France. Sort of from a greater region, we have this Vin Gris from the Gérard Bertrand. Also, we're going to find a fair bit of Grenache in there, and maybe a few other grapes like Cinsault or Syrah, or grapes that are typically found in the south of France. And don't be confused, rosé wines have a lot of different names, Vin Gris being one of them, but of Œil de Perdrix, which means the eye of the partridge. These generally are a darker rosé wine, like this one that I have right here from Oregon. It's from Big Table Farms. It is a rosé of Pinot Noir, and you can see it's quite a bit darker. Don't judge a rosé by its lightness or darkness in color. Some lighter rosé wines can actually be quite powerful, and darker ones can have a bit of elegance to them. And one other thing that I'd like to remind you, we can make pink wines with bubbles in it too. This one is from Graham Beck in South Africa. It retails for $17. And it is a blend of Chardonnay and Pinot Noirs. And let's talk about how pink wines are made. First is the most simple, and we find this with many of the less expensive still rosé wines. It's simply you take a white wine and you add a little bit of red wine to it, and voila, we have a pink wine. This method is used also in the Champagne region and lots of other sparkling wine regions around the world, like this Graham Beck, which happens to be about 50% Pinot Noir, with the remaining being Chardonnay. This is a method that they do utilize a lot in sparkling wine regions. Anyway, the second method, which is a better method, if you will, is the sommelier method. Sommelier means to bleed in French. So imagine, if you will, a large tank of red grapes that were recently picked. There is a lot of weight pressing down on the grapes, and the grape skins burst and they leak out their juice. This juice comes into contact with the skins, and it is called free run juice. This free run juice has a little bit of a pink color to it, and it is bled off from the rest of the grapes. So that pink juice is turned into a rosé wine. The last method, and most people regard this as the best method, is the true rosé method, or as my friend Robert Larson likes to say, the intentional rosé method. This is when the winemaker sets out in the spring to make a rosé wine from the various plots of grapes. Generally speaking, that he or she will pick that grape a little early because they would want to preserve the wine's, the grape juice's natural acidity. Many times with the sommelier method, the acidity levels are a little lacking, so the winemaker will add a little bit of citric acid or malic acid or tartaric acid to bring the acidity up in those wines. Remember, rosé's job number one is to be crisp and clean. That crispness comes from the wine's acidity. The other reason why people tend to regard the intentional or true rosé method is that the winemaker's focus is on the rosé wine. He or she will pick the grape at exactly the right time when he or she feels that the flavors are really coming together and they're going to make the best possible wine. This method, as it may seem to you, is a little more exacting and a little bit more expensive. Therefore, we're going to find that some of these wines tend to be a little bit pricier than other ones, like this Big Table Farm Rosé. And those are the 3 ways to make a rosé wine. So if summer finds you dancing in the street this year, hopefully you're holding a glass of rosé wine. Thanks for watching, and thanks for shopping at Tower. And remember, we now offer curbside pickup and delivery. Check out our website for more information on both of those programs. Thank you very much.